There is a very obvious opportunity in Pokemon investing right now. This is probably one of the safest plays in my opinion, and that is Sword and Shield booster boxes. I believe Sword and Shield booster boxes will mirror the growth of Sun and Moon booster boxes from a couple of years ago. As you guys can see, these are two graphics showcasing all of the prices for Sword and Shield booster boxes and Sun and Moon booster boxes. This was taken from a video from Pokeoz, so shout out to Pokeoz. And in this graphic, you can see for Sword and Shield booster boxes, the total amount is 6,600. So this is all of these booster boxes added together. And for Sun and Moon, it totals to 28,100. So this is roughly a 4x increase from Sun and Moon to Sword and Shield, and I believe that Sword and Shield will follow in the footsteps of Sun and Moon and perform the same, if not better, in the same time interval. And what's even scarier is that a lot of these Sword and Shield booster box sets are very similar to the Sun and Moon sets in both the cards contained inside them, how the sets are structured, etc. Let's take a look at some of these similarities. First, we have Silver Tempest and Lost Thunder. Of course, this is a no-brainer, right? A Lugia set in Silver Tempest versus a Lugia set in Lost Thunder. And I believe Silver Tempest is actually the better set because it has the alternate art Lugia, it has the alternate art Rayquaza, Trainer Gallery, and it has the Blazikens, along with some other pretty deep cards. Lost Thunder, of course, it's not aging the best because the Rainbow Rares, still aren't the most desired. Maybe they'll change down the line. But I think this is definitely a good comparison. I think Silver Tempest could even perform better than Lost Thunder in the same time interval. And at $400 right now, and with Lost Thunder being at $1,400, right, there is a lot of room to grow for Silver Tempest. Now let's take a look at another comparison. We have Brilliant Stars and Unbroken Bonds, both Charizard sets. Unbroken Bonds has, of course, a lot of other alternate arts like the Sylveon and Gardevoir. It has, I believe, the Machamp and the Marshadow. So Unbroken Bonds has a lot of great alternate arts, but so does Brilliant Stars, right? Brilliant Stars not only has the Charizard, which Unbroken Bonds has, it also has evolutions like the Sylveon, like the Umbreon, similar to Unbroken Bonds. And both of these sets, once again, are very similar. And with Brilliant Stars being $450 right now and Unbroken Bonds being $2,300, you can expect very similar growth in the next couple of years for Brilliant Stars to get to the price of Unbroken Bonds today. The next set is going to be Chilling Reign, and once again, Chilling Reign, I believe the comparison is going to be Celestial Storm, right? So Celestial Storm has this Blaziken, right, one of the top chase cards, and Chilling Reign's top chase card, number one chase card, is the Blaziken VMAX alternate art. And I believe Chilling Reign is honestly a better set than Celestial Storm, right, because it has so many alternate arts, it has trainers, it has, a lot of great fantastic cards, and it has really hard pull rates as well. So at $520 versus $2,400, right, the opportunity is right in front of you. Next is Fusion Strike, right, currently sitting at $900, and the obvious comparison for Fusion Strike is going to be Unified Minds. Both are psychic sets, both contain Mew. Both of these sets are amazing. They're both very loved by fans. This is an absolute no-brainer. Once again, $900, so much opportunity to grow to this $3,200 that Unified Minds is at today. And I believe Fusion Strike could even get higher because the Gengar is already so iconic. Now let's take a look at Lost Origin, and I'm actually going to compare Lost Origin to Cosmic Eclipse. Why is that? Now, of course, Lost Origin has the chase card in the Giratina, but it also has a lot of depth, right? It has a lot of the trainer galleries like the Pikachus, right? It has the Charizard, the Gengar, similar to Cosmic Eclipse, how Cosmic Eclipse had a lot of the character art rares, right? It was one of the first, it was actually the only Sun and Moon set to contain character arts, and basically the first set, I think, in the TCG to contain these character arts, which eventually turned into the trainer gallery. And Cosmic Eclipse has, the Secret Rare Pikachu character arts, similar to Lost Origin. So both of these sets are very deep with top chase cards. Of course, I think Cosmic is still the better set than Lost Origin, but Lost Origin at $725, it still has a massive amount of room to grow, and eventually it will hit, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 like Cosmic Eclipse. And lastly, of course, we have the very obvious comparison of Evolving Skies to Team Up. This is a no-brainer, right? Evolving Skies, massive chase cards, very iconic, similar to how Team Up, also has one of the most iconic cards in the Latias and Latios. Of course, Team Up was printed a lot less, right? That kind of adds to its scarcity and adds to its value. But Evolving Skies, I think, is definitely a worthy competitor and eventually will reach $10,000 per booster box. A lot of these Sun and Moon sets started off a couple years ago at the same prices that current Sword and Shield sets are today. So let's take Unbroken Bonds, for example, right? So this is the one-to-one comparison of Brilliant Stars. And back in 2021, it was sitting at $300. It was actually at a high of about $350. And then, quote unquote, the COVID crash happened and it dropped back down to $300. So for investors that are worried about your Sword and Shield sets dropping in value when this quote unquote bubble pops, it's not going to drop that much, right? This dropped from 350 to 300, so that's what, a 10-15% drop. The same thing is going to happen with your Sword and Shield sets. Let's say Lost Origin, it's at $1,000 when the bubble quote unquote pops. It's going to drop back down to $900, maybe $800. So there's really not a lot of risk in these Sword and Shield sets right now. But with Unbroken Bonds, it sat at this $300 range, maybe 400, right? Going up to 400. In 2023, went up to 500, 550, 600, slow and steady growth. That is what you like to see. And then in this current environment, when we had this massive pump in Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon also pumped, and Unbroken Bonds went from 700 to 1,500. Sat there for a couple months, and now it is, in the stratosphere, right? It's $2,000-$3,000. And that same thing's going to happen with these Sword and Shield sets because they are getting more and more scarce, right? There's less of them on the market. Currently with Evolving Skies, right? $2,500. If you take a look at the amount of listings, right? Let's take a look at the listings. A lot of these are Korean, so we don't even need to look at those. The first real listing is right here at 2,500. Then on page 2, right, we go up to 2,500, 2,500. So a couple listings at 2,500, but then we go and jump to 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, right? A couple more listings at 3,000. And if we go to page 3, I'm going to assume it jumps again, right? Now 3,500, 3,500, 3,700, 3,800, 4,900, 5,000, 5,000. So you can see there's not a lot of listings until it jumps up massively in value. Same thing with Fusion Strike, currently sitting at $900. If we take a look at the amount of listings, right, all these are Korean, so we don't need to take a look at them. But the first real listing, we have to go all the way to page 2. You can see a few at $900 currently. Then we go all the way up to about $930, $950, $970, $1,000. So there's less than 10 boxes left until $1,000. And then if we go to page 4, right, you can see it really starts jumping up, right? We go to 1,100, 1,200, 1,200. So you can see it jumps up really fast. Same thing with Lost Origin, currently at $725. All of these Korean listings, let's not pay attention to them. If we go to page 2, we should start seeing these real listings, right? So we have, in the 700s and then $799, right? Already, this is less than 10 listings. Well, this guy has 7, so maybe 10 to 15 listings, and then we go to $800. And then a few more listings, we go to 900, and then we go to 930, 940, 950, 997, and 1,000. So you can see, guys, these listings jump up extremely fast. Chilling Reign, same story, 525 right now. If you take a look, there is not a lot of listings until we hit that $600 to $700 mark, right? So 1, 2, 3 at 550. And then we go to immediately to $599. So Chilling Reign is actually one of those boxes that's going to jump up really fast, really soon. There's not a lot of quantity on the market. This will be a $600 to $700 booster box in the next couple of weeks, if not less than 2 weeks. Quote me on that, guys. Chilling Reign will be a $600 booster box plus in about 2 weeks. And lastly, I want to look at Brilliant Stars. This is also one of my top choices to invest in currently. Currently, it's at $436. And once again, there's not a lot of listings left of Brilliant Stars, right? You have 465 and then 470, 480, 490, and then we go to 500. And then if we go to this next page, then the listings really start shooting up, right? We go to 500, and then we quickly go to 600, and quickly go to 615, and then the sky is the limit from there, right? Go to 700, 800. A lot of people right now are focused on Scarlet and Violet, and I understand, right? Scarlet and Violet is an absolutely great, fantastic era. I personally like Scarlet and Violet more than Sword and Shield, but sometimes, especially right now, Sword and Shield is where the opportunity is at because it is reaching a tipping point, right? It's reaching a point of no return. Once these booster boxes cross this $400 to $500 to $600 line, they're going to shoot up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in the blink of an eye. I saw this personally with Sun and Moon, right? I had a chance and a great opportunity to pick up Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse for under $1,000. These were under $1,000 for the longest time. About the same time I picked up my cases of Lost Origin, I could have picked up Unified Minds and Unbroken Bonds for like $500 to $600, right? And I didn't. Of course, I still did good with Lost Origin because I got these for like 120, 110. But still, the opportunity is in Sword and Shield right now because Sword and Shield is getting basically to the age of where Sun and Moon was at a few years ago. And you see how well Sun and Moon is doing. Let me know, guys, what you think about Sword and Shield booster boxes and if you're picking up any right now. And I'll see you guys in the next one.